season has arrived in France and the Asian hornet is awakening. This aggressive insect is devastating bee colonies in the southwest. Just a handful can wipe out a hive within hours. Welcome to Environment. This week we come to you from Bordeaux, where the battle between man and this unwelcome guest is well underway. Coming up, attack of the Asian hornet. The killer predators are spreading at a rapid rate. We follow a team of experts determined to wipe out these bee-eating pests. Next, Madagascar's honeybee crisis. The killer varroa mite causes its first casualties on the nation island. And finally, saving the world's smallest butterfly. Conservationists set up a study in a remote corner of the Sinai desert. Simple but efficient. This trap uses a sugary alcohol mix to attract the queen hornet before she builds her nest. Once she's inside, there's no way to fly out. Several dozen of these have been set up across Bordeaux, not nearly enough to halt the hornet spread. We've come to witness an Asian hornet intervention firsthand. 2 weeks ago, a queen hornet set up her nest in this hard-to-reach corner of a factory in Bordeaux.
When we deal with the nest, there's no choice but to get rid of it.
This is only a small nest, but it's one of hundreds, possibly thousands, proliferating across France. The Asian hornet first appeared in the southwest in 2004 via a shipment of Chinese pottery. With no natural predators, the species has quickly spread. This type of hornet's prone to attack humans who come too close to a nest, but it's the invader's appetite that's posing a greater threat. 80% of their diet is made up of European honeybees, and these local bees have no line of defence, unlike their Asian counterparts.
Asian bees gather in high numbers, around 20 or 30 bees, and surround the hornet. They increase the temperature up to 48 or 50 degrees. The Asian hornet can't tolerate temperatures higher than 45 degrees, so the consequences are clear. The hornet dies.
Apiculturist Stéphane Bidot knows his French bees are vulnerable.
Look at the third hive on the left. There's a hornet.
The hornet's strategy is simple. Hover in front of the hive and select the bee it likes.
Oh, there you go. He's caught the bee. He's settled on the tree and now he's going to eat it.
Since the hornet's invasion, Stéphane's lost a staggering 6 million bees.
One hornet attacks the bees. It weakens the hive, and then a group of around 20 hornets come in and devour everything.
The Asian hornet has already destroyed this beekeeper's livelihood. The consequences will be far more wide-reaching should it continue to destroy a bee population already dwindling from multiple threats. Ironically, one of the largest threats to beekeeping in the rest of the world is something much smaller than a hornet. It's a mite, known as varroa destructor, which sucks the blood from bees. Last year, the mite made its entry onto the island of Madagascar, where it's been wreaking havoc ever since.
"40 kilometers east of the capital, Antananarivo, the village of Anjepi is in the heart of Madagascar's largest honey-producing region. And yet most bees have disappeared. Samueline Rakutumanga had to destroy all 35 of his hives. They were infested with the varroa mite.
There was nothing we could do. There was no treatment available. We were just told that if we were to find varroa on our bees, we had to burn down all of our hives. But that's not a solution. There is varroa everywhere already.
Because of this parasite, 90% of all hives have been destroyed in the area. Ever since Varroa was first reported in Madagascar at the end of 2010, the bee populations have been declining, which may ultimately reduce pollination.
We're scared. We're very scared for the plants, for our crops. It would be a disaster for our crops if there were no more bees, especially for the lychees. If the bees disappeared, we wouldn't be able to grow anything anymore.
Mr. Hadjarivo started using formic acid provided by a French association to treat his hives. This type of treatment is made on an emergency basis to save the bees, but should be avoided as the residue can affect the honey's flavor. At the University of Antananarivo, researchers have started studying Varroa mites found on Malagasy bees. They hope to find a natural way to repel the parasite.
Nous avons d'abord une biodiversité qui est très riche.
Well, first of all, the biodiversity over here is incredibly rich. So with all the different plants we have here, we are certainly going to be able to find a cure. On top of that, we would rather preserve the environment.
Few honey operations have survived the recent Varroa outbreak, and their beekeepers don't have the time to wait for research results. So they have themselves started looking into natural ways, already used overseas, to manage the mites.
Thyme, yes. It's thyme that they use in Europe as a remedy. They use the extract, the essential oil. We really should grow thyme here. It would even be a good idea to plant some thyme in front of each beehive. That would help fight the Varroa.
This region usually produces between 6 and 8 tons of honey every year, but because of the Varroa outbreak, this year they expect to only produce a ton.
Bees may be one of the most important insects under threat, but they're by no means the only ones. Deep within the Sinai desert, the world's smallest butterfly is on the brink of extinction, and scientists say its fate could be a model for all endangered species under threat from global warming.
Here are a couple of Sinai batten blues. They are the world's smallest butterflies, and they're facing extinction. This species is found only in one small corner of the Sinai desert, and it's entirely dependent on crops of wild Sinai thyme that grow in the mountainous region.
This is a thyme plant. It's the only plant that the caterpillar feeds on, and it's what the adult butterfly prefers to feed on.
The butterflies lay their eggs on the plant's sprouting buds. They also help to pollinate the thyme. It's a delicate balance of mutual dependency, which is now in danger. Some scientists say global warming and overgrazing by Bedouin herds could cause the extinction of the species, an argument rejected by the local guide.
The thyme is not interesting to goats or camels or donkeys. I think they don't like the taste of it. They might eat a small piece, but they won't eat it again after that. This is because it has a very strong taste. It's a medicinal plant.
A medicinal plant that's also sought after by men, resulting in over-harvesting. The butterflies are poor flyers with a range of only around 100 meters. If the thyme sprigs die out, so will the Sinai batten blue. They simply have nowhere else to go.
That brings us to the end of Environment this week. Thanks for joining us here in Bordeaux, and we look forward to seeing you next time.